Okay, you wonderful people. We're now on to 118 of Build Your Own Batmobile Tumbler. One eight. Coming towards the end. So yeah, let's get straight through to the nitty gritty. So we're going to be working on the right wheel rim and outer hub, and yeah, it's all the sort of stuff we've already done, plus that little mod I do with the washers. Getting those in was a bit tricky if I remember last time. And then once completed, we will have done all the wheels. Really, you say? And in the next issue, we'll be working on the bottom plate and battery compartment cover. So let's have a look at the parts we get with this magazine. 118. Let's have a look at you. So in these parts, let's have a look. These are the metal ones, as you can hear, clanking away. Look at that, lovely. And these are the plastic ones. So you've got that part, the end cap, we'll move it over there. Got CM, VM, AAM, and those are all screws, and we get those little plastic bits that fit in there. So without hanging about, let's crack on with that build. Okay, we've got a change of plan after seeing some of the mentions in the Facebook group. The references, pictures as you see here, and the footage, the wheels are, are nothing like what we're presented with from Hachette. So it's a case of modifying them. And obviously I've done some research to make sure this is factual and not just gone off the word of somebody else. And as you can see, yeah, the wheel outer casings are black, and you can see a bit of silver on the inner side. So it's a case of masking up, and this is a little bit tricky because you've only got one angle in that wheel that you can really put the tape on. So, and it's easier to do it in little sections rather than go just get a long strip and try and do that, because you'll never get it all the way around without it being out of shape or out of the alignment. So yeah, we'll just speed this up. Obviously it takes a little while to do it, and it's not just this wheel that I'm doing it on. I'm doing it on the other set of wheels, and also the modification has to be done, yeah, on both sets of wheels, as I said. So yeah, cracking on with that, and I'm using Tamiya masking tape. Let me just check which one it is. It's the 6mm masking tape I'm using on the end of this metal part of the wheel. And then once I've got that and I'm happy with it, then I'll move on to adding more bigger pieces of masking tape that overlap the initial smaller Tamiya masking tape, and just cutting it so it conforms to the wheel. And there you go. Now it's on to airbrushing, and I'm just using Vallejo Air paints, and this one is just number 71.057 black, and that's the model Air range. So yeah, after completing the first light coat, you'll notice inside of that rim I've masked off the silver parts I've already put in, little silver bolts. So we just get that painted up, and then we move that around, make sure all the edges of the tops of the rims are done. This is quite satisfying once you get it all set up. I'm just using a cheap airbrush, by the way, with a dual capacity tank. I got it off Amazon a few years ago, probably about 100 quid's worth of equipment, no more. And the paint is not thinned down at all. That's why I like the air paints, you don't have to thin them out. Then into the other section that we've masked off, just a light coat on the sides, and then once you've got all the sides done, you can focus more on the centre, just rotating it round. And this paint dries very, very quickly, you don't have to hang about, and because it's coming through the airbrush, you've got the air that's forcing it out, which makes it dry even quicker. So yeah, just make sure I've got coverage on all the different angles and sides and everything. And that's the beauty of this paint, and it doesn't take much paint to use as well, so you won't waste much. I don't think you get the same effect with Halford's aerosol. Now we're moving on to the matte varnish phase. So I did 3 coats of the black on both components, and now we're just airbrushing the varnish on. Just thin little layers, you can barely see it coming out because it comes out clear. You'll see it starts being a little bit shiny. It does go to a matte finish, so that's all good, that's what we want. And this will protect the paint from peeling off, so it's another layer of protection. And it's got a slight blue haze to it. I don't know if that's because it's against black or not, so that's me just covering up another layer. So unfortunately I didn't record myself peeling off the masking tape, but this is before, and you can see that you get a nice layer of black on there, and then after you peel off the masking tape you get that effect. And that's what the finished wheel will look like once you put the little plastic studs in it, and that's it completed on that side of the model. That's the side we've already done. And quick pan across to give you the full effect. There you go, beautiful. So we now continue with the build of part 118. Okay, so we've got all that sorted and painted up. I'm pleased. So we'll just assemble it as before. So there's a line there, they match up. And then you get some CM screws and pop them in. So how is everybody doing in the world? That's nice and tight. On to the next one. I think this mod is definitely worth doing if you haven't already got past this stage, because it's going to be closer to what we see on the screen, and we all want it to look as nice as possible, don't we? Ultimately, that's what makes this the ultimate Batmobile. Again, it's one of the harder models to do because everything's black on black and very tricky to see what you're doing. So you want this really tight. really tight. So yeah, we'll just go around making sure it can be as tight as can be. And then once completed, will look like that. Then on to the next stage, we'll just put that screw away. You never know, you might need it in the future if we get any replacement parts. I'm sure they'll provide the screws, won't they? So this is the other mod I do. I just put these little washers in, and I'll just get the screws ready first. And these are AAM screws. So this just pops on like that, and get one of these washers, and the second one. And this just raises it up a touch, so it makes a better connection with the wheel. It's just starting to get very warm in the UK as well. And we're looking at 32 on Monday. Just make sure that the washers are not pushing too far forward. And do a final tighten up. There we go. And we'll just pop that screw back in there for future use. Then we should be able to test fit these. That's right. So while they're like that and they're secure, we'll get some gaffer tape onto them. So we're now working on the rear right axle, and we bring those two tyres in that are attached to each other with gaffer tape, and they should just slide on. I've raised up the one side of the tumbler with a roll of masking tape just to give it a bit of height. So we add in that spoiler, or not the spoiler, the rim that we painted up, and screw that in. And that screw's got a washer on it. And then we just fit that cap in. That's a little bit tricky, but just get it in there. Tight squeeze, push, and away we go. And then it's just a case of ripping off that gaffer tape that's holding those wheels together, spinning them round as you do, and you can see obviously that just proves that the wheels spin as well. And then we'll do a sound effect together. Come on, ready? There you go. Not the camera there. One idiot. And then we'll go in for some beauty shots. So there you go. That's the rear of the beast. And I fixed the tyres so they're going opposing directions. And you can see the whiskers going in different directions on each wheel. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that one. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.